I've recorded 150 episodes of my podcast, and most of them were bad. Like, painfully bad. But it's the mistakes that I made that are the reason I'm growing now. So if you're starting a podcast, please let me save you a lot of time. I'm Galina Ravina. I'm a comedian and host of the podcast Galina Ravina Podcastina. It's a podcast where I talk to other comedians, therapists, doctors, innovators, authors, athletes, basically anybody with an interesting story. I've just released my 150th episode, and that means I've learned a lot. I finally understand what matters and what actually doesn't, and a lot of the podcasting advice out there is totally inaccurate. So let me save you some time. Here's something most people don't want to accept, but please accept this because it will help you move things along. Your first couple of episodes are going to suck. Mine were terrible. They were boring. They dragged on too long. I wasn't doing a good job hosting, and I definitely wasn't doing a good job in post. My conversations were awkward, the episodes were probably way too long, and the editing was abysmal. The problem is I didn't have a lot of directions, and I was constantly asking questions of my guests that really didn't go anywhere. But here's the important part. Those bad first episodes actually matter a lot, because that's where so much of the learning takes place. Those first episodes are where you learn how to listen, how to follow a thread, how to interrupt your guest when you need to without it being rude or obvious, and how not to make the show about you. If you're including guests in your episodes, if it's interview style, kind of like mine is, then the guest is super important because a good guest is going to help you along, but a bad guest is going to expose you as a bad host immediately. You don't just want people who are smart, you want people who are good storytellers. If you know anything at all about anthropology, you understand that storytelling is one of the main mechanics in how to keep things interesting. It's the premise of any good movie, any good TV show, any wonderful piece of art, and that goes the same for podcasting. Instead of just finding people who are trying to sound correct, you want to find people who actually know what they're talking about. And if someone is sitting with you and giving you one-word answers, you know pretty quickly that you're in trouble. I've had a few guests where I've sat there and they've been really short, and I've just panicked as I'm recording, but knew that I had to keep the episode going. Okay, this next piece of advice is a little bit brutal, but nobody cares about your podcast, like at all. You post an episode and you're so excited and you just did all this work and you did all this promo to announce the beginning of the show, and womp womp, you're lucky if you get 23 views. But I need you to know that those 23 people absolutely matter, because it's not that you're building a viral moment, you're building trust. A podcast is a long game. You've probably heard that before. But you're going to keep releasing episodes. Next thing you know, it's been months. Next thing you know, you're releasing episode 100. The only thing that really builds a podcast is going to be consistency over time and really having an audience that trusts that you're going to give them what they've expected to receive from you. Here's what I wish I knew back during episode 1, because I would absolutely go back and start over with this. It's not the podcast itself that grows the show. It's really doing clips. So if you're an audio-only show, it might make it a little bit more difficult to grow. Clips are basically like free advertising. It's a chance that you get to reach an unlimited audience, and every clip is kind of like buying a lotto ticket. Here's what I found works best. It's clips that are controversial, very relatable, or clear, punchy insights. Here's what doesn't work. It's clips that are rambling, inside jokes, slow builds with no payoff. If someone doesn't understand your clip in the first 3 seconds, they're swiping away. For a long time, I was really just hosting conversations, and that turned out to be a huge mistake, because people don't just subscribe to the conversations, they subscribe to your perspective. That means you don't have to agree with everyone you talk to on the show. You should try to be respectful about it so that you don't burn bridges with your guests, but you should have a strong opinion and you should stand your ground. Don't be afraid to ask hard questions. It was always the videos where I thought, wow, I'm doing too much. Those were the ones that turned out to perform the best. It doesn't mean being fake, it just means being clear. Now, let's talk about what actually helped me grow. If I had to boil it down to things that I would say moved the needle, number 1 is going to be posting clips. Post them wherever you can. Don't just post them on YouTube, post them on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Somebody might see it, and it only takes one person to convert them from a clip to a listener. And when it comes to posting, do not forget to be consistent. Post your clip and make sure that in the caption somewhere, you have it pointed to where the full episode is, tell them the link is in bio, and have an accessible clip somewhere that people can click to without a lot of friction. Because if it's hard to find, they're going to get distracted and they're not going to click into it. Get better at clip selection over time. Study your analytics. Look at where people fell off. Did they scroll away in the first 3 seconds? You need to work on your hooks. Be consistent. Pick better, bigger guests over time. Build credibility within your network so that you can bag those big guests when you ask them. I'm still figuring it out, but I'm absolutely in a better place than I was for episode 1. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, just start, because understand that those first 20, 30, 50 episodes, they're just training. And if you want to take a look at a good example and learn from my mistakes, go ahead and hit subscribe and comb through my episodes, comb through the clips, and see how it's gotten better over time.